she'll be sharing her story today. Hello, how are y'all? As Megan said, I'm Kim. This is the first speech that I've given in front of anybody since high school. Also the first time I've shared my personal story with anybody other than my doctor or therapist. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of compassion in case I have to take a moment to get it together or even cry a little bit, okay? I did a little bit of research just for you guys. I wanted to do a vocabulary lesson courtesy of Urban Dictionary. You know, I had to find the best source. Depression is like drowning, except everyone around you can see you. It's like screaming for help, but no one hears. Anxiety. It's like the feeling when you almost fall out of a chair or miss a step on a staircase. Suicide. People that just forgot it would be okay. Bravery. Being scared shirtless, being 2,873% terrified, but doing it anyway. Compassion. Something only the truly hardcore and awesome people of this world possess. I have struggled with anxiety and depression for as long as I can remember, although for a long time I did not know what those words meant. I had my first baby in 2011. Those were supposed to be the greatest moments of my life, and I found myself in a place with no joy. I was never happy. I was constantly upset. I wanted to be alone so that I could cry and scream, and I didn't have to worry about what anyone else said or thought about how I was feeling. The first time I thought about suicide was several days before my son's second birthday. He got into a pile of clothes that I was folding, and I lost it. I just went off the handle, and I thought at that moment, this is not the best me. Everyone in my life will be better without me in it. That was the day that I started making my plan to commit suicide. My son's birthday party was on a Saturday, and we had his birthday party, and things didn't go as planned, which if you have kids or plan a birthday party, they never do, okay? And that afternoon, we just kind of went through the motions. The next day, I got up and I was like, this is it. I have to end my life. And my son and I had went to town to run some errands, and when we pulled back into our driveway, one of the sheriff's deputies pulled in behind me, and I thought, God, I do not want to pretend like everything's okay. I just got done in town. I'd smiled all I wanted to smile. So, being the curious little 2-year-old that he is, he asked to go see the truck, and the gentleman that was the deputy was a guy that I went to school with, and so he let him play with all the lights and the sirens, and I remember looking in that truck and just this look of pure happiness and joy on my son's face, just content, just happy. And that evening we went through our routine, and I kept telling myself, if you can make it through this, it's going to end tomorrow. It's all going to end tomorrow. You can just get through this. So we did our routine, and the next morning I woke up and took him to daycare and drove out to the spot where I had intended to take my life. And as I was sitting there, it came to me that this truck that my son had so much joy in was going to come to tell him that his mom had died. That's my way of God intervening. I thank him every day for stepping in. I finally spoke up, and after 2 years, I got some help, and in 2013, I received my first official diagnosis of postpartum depression. Knowing that I wasn't alone and that there was a reason that I felt the way I felt made it better. I did therapy, I went to doctors, and I felt better. I learned how to handle the bad days as they came. I wasn't honest with myself or anyone else through that process. I had a pretty big secret that I was keeping and had been keeping for a while. In 2015, I had my second baby, and whenever I was in therapy for postpartum depression, they told me, most women that suffer will suffer again. And I found myself once again in a rut, just depressed and sad all the time. Sorry. In March of 2018, I found myself in a rut. I wanted to die. The only way I didn't want to die is if I was drunk. I had quickly become an alcoholic. One morning I was filling my beer cooler with ice before work. It was that bad. And I thought, well, this is it. I've got to set it free. I have to tell somebody this secret or I'm never going to get better. So I asked my siblings to join me at my parents' house that afternoon, and the only reason I tell y'all that part is because the people that I needed in my corner were in my corner and would have been in my corner had I just been a little more brave. That afternoon, I told them about the sexual abuse that happened to me when I was 7 years old by my babysitter's boyfriend. Life got lighter. I really felt lighter. Like I felt like I was growing and healing and finally making progress. And in September of 2019, I hit my very next rock bottom. My daughter was sexually assaulted, oddly enough, by her babysitter's boyfriend. I still thank God every day that at 3 years old, she was brave enough to tell me. How did I fail her? How did I fail my job? Murder-suicide was the only option I thought I had. By the grace of God, I lived and made it through. And in 2021, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. Ever since that day, it's been a climb. Some days, the grade's not very high. Some days, there's no grade at all. But some days, I feel like I'm looking at the sky. But every day, I have to climb because I'm not alone. There's someone else that is struggling. There's somebody in front of me. There's somebody behind me. And there's somebody right beside me. I ask that you guys take away from this. I want you to have courage and strength. Be strong. It's scary, but there's gonna be somebody there for you. I promise. Also, take your mental health days. I don't know, do you sleep all day? I binge watch Suits and eat junk food. So, I don't know what yours looks like, but I promise, no matter what it is, it's okay. I always think about in the hard times remembering my life, everybody around me would be so much better without me in it. And I can look all of you in the eyes today and promise you that if you think that, that is not the case. There is hope for you. Just keep fighting. Now, I'm going to try to tell you a Bible verse, but I'm sure I'm going to mess it up. But Jeremiah 29:11 says, the Lord says, I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans for hope and a future. Please, if you're struggling, reach out, because I promise someone else is too. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for either one of our speakers? All right. Then I do have a video for y'all. It is a little long, but I promise it's good.
Hi, my name is Ariana. I'm 19 years old and I'm a sophomore at Texas Tech.
I'm Kendra, I'm 21, and I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression.
My name is Megan Moore. I'm 21 years old, and I've been diagnosed with OCD, depression, and anxiety. This is my story.
I have struggled with mental health for nearly all of my life. I've dealt with it since about the age of 7, starting with depression, anxiety, and then as I got older, around 18, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and recently have been diagnosed with obsessive compulsive personality disorder. It is a struggle every day, but it is something that I work through and have been working through since I was little.
I think my anxiety started in middle school. I think everybody has a little bit of anxiety. We get the nerves in our stomach and things about a test or an upcoming event or something. But I think I just started to get anxiety about comparing myself and trying to be perfect. And then when I started being pushed around and bullied and just started having an image put out about me, I think that I was just having so much anxiety about what people thought about me and how I needed to act, how I needed to dress, like what type of person I needed to be accepted and be part of the cool kids. My depression didn't start till high school, I think that's when it just got worse, my anxiety, and then my depression hit. And I started to just get very unhappy. I was happy on the outside to others and put on a smile, and I would be goofy and loud and people just saw me as that, but inside I was unhappy. I was not loud. I would go home and want to be alone. I tend to shut myself out from everybody and not want to be around people when I am feeling depressed. And it just got worse as the year went by, and I was in counseling in high school, but I think that it never really stuck in my head. It never it would help a little bit to talk to someone, but in my head, I was still not good enough. There was still something wrong with me. It wasn't normal for me to feel this way. Why can't I just be happy like everyone else? Why do I have to feel this way? This is not right. I went through some really pretty hard things in high school. I feel like my high school was not normal like it should have been, so I felt like I missed out on a lot of things. And certain events and certain things that happened to me personally just made my depression worse, and I felt like it was never going to get better, and I felt like this was just my life and I needed to accept it, and everything that happened to me is what I deserved to happen. And after high school it got worse. I started partying and drinking and trying to fit in and trying to hide away and hoping that something would help, hoping that if I could just do what everybody else is doing, that I will be fine, that I will learn to be happy. And that just wasn't the case. It just made it worse, and bad things happened more and more to me. I started to look in the mirror and not know who I was. I felt very numb. I just felt like I was going day to day, just trying to get by. And it just really got to the point where my mind just got darker and darker until I couldn't recognize myself. And I got so far into this hole I didn't know how to get out of. I'm 21 now, and I'm still struggling with depression and anxiety. It's not something that will just go away the very next day, you know? It's something you have to work on. It's something you have to really understand and get help with. A few months ago, I actually went through my worst time of depression, and my mind got so dark. I ended up trying to commit suicide, and I had to go to the hospital, and I just didn't know what to tell anybody when they asked why, and all I could think about was just telling them, I just feel like a failure. I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve to live. Everybody would appreciate me if I wasn't here. Depression is a serious thing, and it's really hard. I'm still struggling with it today, but I get stronger every day, and I lean on the Lord, and I lean on the truth of what He says about me, because it doesn't matter what anybody else says about you. It doesn't matter what you think about yourself. It matters what the Lord says about you and the truth. And so now I say affirmations to myself every day, and gradually you start to believe those things about you. You believe the truth.
My struggles with mental health have been nothing but hard and long. It's really the only way I know how to summarize it all, besides saying that I'm glad that I kept fighting. But to fully understand my story, we've got to go back to the beginning, which is April of 2020, which just so happened to be my senior year in high school, and the first time my suicidal thoughts occurred. They first occurred when I was driving to work one morning. All I could think about was just wanting to die, but not wanting to do it myself. So I constantly hoped over and over again that I would get in some sort of wreck or something else would end my life for me. And these thoughts kept growing and growing because I was terrified to ask for help, because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want people to think I was crazy. But the truth is, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't the only one that these thoughts happened to. So, after a literal miracle from God, Him showing me in a dream one night that I did not really want that wreck to happen, I decided to ask for help. And things did start to get a little bit better. Until the very 1st of September 2020, when I sat in the parking lot of Western Texas College and thought to myself, where am I going to go and what can I get tonight to make sure that I don't live to see tomorrow? And after thankfully finding the courage to get out of my car that night, go inside, and try and sleep it off. I decided a couple days later, on September 5th, to give up my basketball scholarship and come back home to Lubbock, Texas, to get the extra help that I so desperately needed. Yes, that was one of the hardest decisions that I've had to make. But yes, I am so glad that I made that decision. I started counseling about a month later, which was a very different experience than something I have ever done before. But it is counseling that helped me get through my struggles and be able to sit here in front of you today and share just a piece of my story. So, flash forward to September 5th, 2021, a year after I decided to give up my scholarship. The day when I know that things started going downhill because I was full of regret and what ifs, and I didn't let anybody know that I was having these feelings. So as I kept spiraling down, things started to get worse and worse until 6:30 in the morning on September 27th, 2021, exactly 2 years ago from the day that you'll be watching this video. I decided when driving to work that I was going to end my life and nothing was going to stop me. So as I got ready to flip my car, as I gripped my steering wheel tight, coming to terms with what I was going to do, I prayed one last time for God to please forgive me for what I was about to do. Please just have mercy on my soul. And that's exactly what he did, but not in the way that I wanted. He told me, Megan, look around you one more time. Because I didn't want to hurt anybody else. I just wanted to hurt myself because their life mattered, but mine didn't. So that's exactly what I did. I looked around me one last time with hopes that nobody would be around me so I can do what I wanted to do. But thankfully, it seemed like out of nowhere, out of thin air, a car appeared in my rearview mirror and I was not able to accomplish what I set out to do that morning. So after pulling off into the Lowe's parking lot and texting my counselor, we decided that the best course of action for me was to call the crisis line, which was absolutely terrifying thought to me at the time. But with just that little bit of hope that I had in the back of my head, I mustered up the courage to once again reach out for help. After calling the crisis line, I got the help that I needed that morning. Everybody was so kind and reminded me that my life truly did matter. And that it wasn't my heart that wanted this, but my mind, and my mind was lying to me. Because all the thoughts that I wasn't worth it, that my life didn't matter, that everybody else would be better off without me, was just a lie. So after that morning, I spent 23 hours in the extended observation unit at Sunrise Canyon Mental Health Hospital. Yes, it wasn't the most pleasurable time, but it was something I would do over and over and over again, because I know that it's because of that day that I get to sit here in front of you today and tell you to just stay a little bit longer. Just keep fighting and holding on, because things will get better. And for me, things didn't necessarily get better right off the bat. It took until the beginning of 2023 when I finally got my medicine right, I finally got the correct diagnosis, that now I can say that I lived the best life I could possibly live. I get to wake up every morning and be happy that I get to see the sunrise. Be happy that I get to go to work, go to school, just do the things that a regular kid gets to do. So I just want you to know that there is hope out there. There are so many better things in life than what you think. It is possible to wake up every morning and be happy. So please, keep fighting. Just stay a little bit longer. You can do it, I believe in you. We can all get through it, but it starts with the first step, which I think is the hardest step. Asking for help.
This may be cliche, but one of the things that I wish I knew when I was younger was that I was not alone in this struggle. I have recently met some of my greatest friends in my life, and they have gone through such similar things as me, and it makes me feel so seen. But when I was younger, when I was little, I always thought I was alone in that battle. But that's just simply not the case.
If I could go back, I would tell myself when I was younger to not give up, to fight every day, fight your mind, fight the lies that the enemy tries to put in your mind about who you are and that you're not good enough and that you don't deserve to be here. Get up every day and tell yourself that you are worth it, that you are seen, that you deserve to be here. You have a purpose to be here. And don't let anybody else tell you differently. I would tell myself and anyone else struggling with this that you are seen, that you are loved, and you are not alone. It feels like you are alone, but you are not. And there are more people than you think there is struggling with this. And that it is okay to reach out for help. Don't be afraid. Don't bottle it up and keep it in, because the longer you do, the more it's going to fester, and then it's going to explode and it's going to get worse. Reaching out for help is one of the best things that I could have done for myself. And still to this day, I have to remind myself of that, but that's okay. Each day, you'll get stronger and stronger, and there are going to be some days where it's worse than other days. And those are the days that you need to remind yourself the most of the truth about who you are. Remind yourself that you are loved, and seek God and what He says about you, not what other people say about you, not what you say about yourself. You matter, and you belong here.
I wish my younger self knew and also just believed how great that life could be. That there truly is hope out there. That I don't have to sit there and plan months ahead in my future, because that's not what I can give. I could just take things week by week, day by day, or even minute by minute, because that's all that I was able to give at that moment.
Hello, my name is Kelly Mendez. I represent Cary County Suicide Awareness. I am going to be talking a lot about my son Jeremiah. He is 18 years old. He took his life 3 years ago, September the 10th, which happens to be National Suicide Awareness Day. I don't think my son knew that when he did this. Nobody really knows this about me, but I have been very suicidal myself throughout my life. Attempted taking my life numerous times, but the good Lord wasn't ready for me at that time. I did not realize that I had obviously been showing traits of this throughout all of my children's lives, including Jeremiah's. I thought I had it all under control, but obviously I didn't. All of my children are doing very well. I thought Jeremiah was doing very well.
Hi, I'm Carrie Timmons, and in 2017, my husband and I lost our youngest child to suicide, and now we are huge advocates for suicide prevention and suicide awareness. I am also an American Foundation for Suicide Prevention advocate, so I'm constantly emailing our Congress to get more awareness about suicide and mental health. I struggle myself now after we lost him.
On September 10th, 2020, my son took his life. Never saw it coming. He was very, very handsome, very outgoing, very well liked. Nobody would have ever thought my son would take his life. 2 weeks before he took his life, some friends of his, very, very close friends, let us know some things were going on. When we talked with him, we thought we had it all taken care of. But I guess we didn't. We were devastated and have continued to be devastated. I remember laying on the floor just begging God, what am I going to do now? We had told Jeremiah what a special young man he is. He was very special to me. He's not my biological son, but I raised him from an infant as my own child. My family, we've all loved him as our very own. He still is my very own son. I have an older son, but Jeremiah was my son too. He was great. Supported him, let him know how loved he was. He was fabulous. He was the one out of all 4 of the kids. They had a mother and daddy. I was a single mother with all the rest of them. But he was like, he had a mother and dad. But apparently he struggled with some things that we didn't know about. It really doesn't matter at this point. I remember begging God, telling God, what am I going to do now? And never heard God speak to me so clear. He said, you're going to get up and you're going to do something about this. And I have not stopped to talk about mental health and suicide awareness every day. Every time I get up, every time I go to bed, I tell God every morning, and I thank Him for the struggles that make me a better person today. I'm not going to sit and cry and dwell in grief. I'm going to do my best to bring awareness, help people, and be grateful for the life that I have given to me today. Hope that I can make somebody's life better and let them know how special they are.
Zane was 16 and he took his life July 26th of 2017. He was the smartest child you would ever meet. He was number 3 in his class at the time. He had amazing friends, and his friends have also been a huge support for us. He wanted to be a neurosurgeon because he himself had a brain condition called Chiari malformation. So he wanted to continue the research for it. He was kind of the leader of the pack of his group of friends, and he was amazing when it came to taking other kids in, especially ones that didn't have friends. We miss our child so much. He was amazing.
And if I could have one more thing to say to my son, I would just tell him, please, son, just hold on, just wait a minute. I know you know how special you are, just hold on. Wait a minute.
What I wish Zane knew when he was struggling was that we would be able to help him, that my husband and I would be there for him no matter what, and that his friends would be there. His friends didn't even know that he was struggling. It was over a girl, and she didn't let us know that he was in trouble. But I wish he had told us, or even called the 1-800 number. I wish that he just would have known that we would have been there.
There are so many reasons to stay. You have so many more sunsets to watch and so many nights full of stars to look at. It is so worth staying.
My story is my testimony, and I know that sharing my story is really hard, but it can potentially help somebody else and also potentially save another life, because I survived my attempt and I'm so thankful I did. So I just want everyone to know that you are truly loved and seen for who you really are.
Please stay, because this world needs you. I need you, and tomorrow needs you. So just fight one more day, every day.
And for anybody else that's struggling, hold on. Hold on, just hold on a minute. We can get through this.
As an advocate for suicide, what I wish everybody would know, and especially the ones that are struggling, that we want you to stay and we want you to fight another day. Keep fighting. Don't let go. We need you here. Everyone needs you here. Your family, your friends, random people. We want to see you grow up. But please, stay.
Alright, well, that is the end of our presentation. I appreciate you all being here, listening to us. We'll be up here for a little bit if y'all want to talk about anything, have any questions that y'all thought of, anything like that. But thank y'all.
Hey, before we break, could you tell us some of the ways you handle the bad days?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Can you tell us or share with us just the ways you handle the bad days?
I
Or
don't know.
either of
There's
y'all?
been a lot of different ways. I guess recently just like talking about it, it feels really good to just kind of get out of your system, feel like you're not carrying that burden, it doesn't weigh so heavy on you. I know some days I found things like maybe playing with my dog or going and playing a sport, just finding that thing that makes me happy so I can just like get out of my head for that moment. It gives me some relief. I don't know, do you have anything to add to that?
I watch Suits, literally, that's what I do, I just binge watch Suits. I mean, I find myself when I'm struggling, I pray a lot. So, I mean, it puts me on my knees, you know?
And I know it's probably not something that the boss wants to hear, but take your mental health days. Like, it's important. Yeah, it is, for sure. There isn't a job at all. I mean, a lot of people, you'd be surprised, would understand. I always thought one of my bosses would be so not understanding. And I went to him and I said, I've got to take some time off. And he 100% was like, let me know what I can help you with. Take a day off. So that's important.
Honesty, be honest with yourself, be honest with the people that love you. I mean, in my story, that was something I learned, honesty. Honesty helps, because when you tell somebody, they can help you. If they don't know, they can't be there for you.
Do you have any more questions? We're pretty open about our story. I'm not afraid to talk about anything, if you want more details, anything like that. Don't be afraid to ask.